I thought tonight I'd take a look at a movie that I haven't seen in a while, and I don't believe I've reviewed it yet. I did think of reviewing a small documentary on the Video Nasties, which I'm going to try again to do that, only because I haven't completed it yet due to technical difficulties with my phone. But in any event, tonight we look at Arnold Schwarzenegger and Richard Dawson of Family Feud fame in The Running Man. Interestingly enough, there are some, I guess there's a DVD version of this, or Blu-ray, I'm not sure which, it's one of the two, that draws some parallels to how we're being spied on in real life by, various social media websites and or the government and whatnot. And a lot of it did have some, fake news aspects to it. But the premise is basically takes place in the future, 2019, technically, in Los Angeles after an earthquake that is used for game show purposes. The game show is called The Running Man. It's basically convicts going through these burned out sections of Los Angeles, and they're being, of course, hunted by stalkers. The stalkers in the film are pretty, they're pretty much what you'd call the equivalent of pro wrestlers, maybe nowadays in some ways, with, somewhat like the lines are somewhat like wrestling promos. And they're just basically hired killers. One of them actually two of them are played by actual former pro wrestlers. The late Tor Tanaka plays Sub-Zero, and of course Jesse Ventura plays Captain Freedom. Arnold Schwarzenegger is basically a former police officer who is framed for the murders of many women and children, men, women, and children in a rioting situation that had gone pretty bad. And, of course, he was framed by the government, of course, and he escapes from a prison only to be recaptured and to be put on this game show known as The Running Man. And it's Schwarzenegger. It's somewhat typical action film, like if you've seen Commando, Predator, anything with Schwarzenegger in it, pretty much. Not counting Jingle All the Way or Twins, but it's basically it's a very entertaining shoot-'em-up film. So, with that said, Richard Dawson, of course, plays Killian. He's the game show host. And this was actually pretty good. Richard Dawson, you would never really know, but he's actually a pretty good actor. Sadly, of course, he's no longer with us. Another person who is also in it is Sven Ole Thorsen, who is also the security guard in the film. He's been in quite a few movies himself. He's pretty much what you would call, he's kind of pretty much what Danny Trejo was in the 80s and the mid-90s until, he hit it big with Machete. But he's been in a few good movies. Mostly a few comedies. He's known for doing a lot of deadpanning and shocked expressions and whatnot. If you've seen the movie Mallrats, for example, he plays LaForce. He also plays in a Jesse Ventura movie known as Abraxas, Guardian of the Universe. He's the villain, and he should have gotten a lot more roles after that role because he was a very good leading villain. So aside from that, Maria Conchita Alonso, she's also in it. She plays the woman that more or less was at one point the hostage, and then she, of course, once she figures out what's going on, she's forced into the game as well. So naturally, she's going to team up with Schwarzenegger's character, Ben Richards. A lot of good cameos by different people. Dweezil Zappa, Mick Fleetwood. Let's see, Jim Brown. He plays Fireball. A lot of different people you might spot here and there, really. But in any event, that is the review for this particular episode. Also, I have thought I'm going to try to do possibly I'm thinking of doing a trilogy review. I don't know yet. If I do a trilogy review, I just haven't decided on what trilogy yet, because I've got quite a few in mind. But I'm leaning towards Lucio Fulci's Gates of Hell trilogy, just because that looks really kind of very interesting. And it's definitely, it'll definitely be something to explore as the time goes by and everything. Let's see. Another one I thought of was, I don't know, a few box sets here and there. Al Adamson would be definitely one, but that would take quite a while. That'd be like, that's 32 movies, I think, roughly. Or at least 30. That's a pretty big box set. Yeah, in any event, I shall be hopefully trying to do a little more of these more frequently. But hopefully the phone will work when I try to upload this to YouTube. So, until we meet again,